Hello and welcome to Adventures in Venueland, an EVMC podcast. Join us for this all-access pass backstage and behind the scenes with some of the brightest minds that cross the scope of the live event industry. I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. We'll introduce you to incredible guests who journey with us as we dive deep into the world of venues, tours, festivals, and everything in between. Grab your laminate and meet us in Venueland.
For today's adventures, we're heading to the shores of Lake Washington, just outside of Seattle. We're checking in with the marketing manager for the Seattle Seahawks, Lumen Field, and the co-founder of the Female Edge. What's all that mean? We're going to find out when we talk to Alexa Coyle. Alexa, great to have you here with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and excited to talk to you guys today.
So your offices are, we were talking kind of on the shores of Lake Washington.
Yes, they are. I work out of the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, which is the Seahawks practice facility. And as you mentioned, beautiful, right on the shores of Lake Washington, in Renton, Washington. So just 20 minutes south of the city of Seattle. And it's a beautiful place to come to work every day. But, I very often am at our stadium, Lumen Field, as well, which is a beautiful venue in itself, right in the heart of Seattle. So lucky to get to work in both locations.
It's some very cool stuff and a very unusual journey you've had from being an international athlete to where you're at today. Excited to chat with you about that. But let's start with where you're at today. So tell us about your position there with the Seahawks and Lumen Field and kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I'm marketing manager for the Seattle Seahawks and Lumen Field, and wear a lot of hats and oversee a lot of different components. So first and foremost, all of the event marketing for Lumen Field. So our large stadium concerts, our dirt shows like Monster Jam, Supercross, other niche, unique events that come through the venue. And then we also have a small theater space called WAMU Theater, stands for Washington Music Theater. And that's in our event center space within Lumen Field. So 9K capacity concerts. We have comedy shows, variety of different trade shows, Seattle Boat Show, RV Show. We had Seattle Art Fair in there. And then Seahawks Game Day actually becomes our fan tailgate pregame space. So really unique venue space within our Lumen Field footprint that also oversee the marketing for that venue. And then on top of that, I oversee our marketing for Lumen Field brand component. So our food and beverage, sustainability, technology, which is a massive part of our organization and a massive priority is our innovation. So we have the most Just Walk Out concession stands of any venue in the world, actually, a cool fact about our venue, and really look to just continually innovate. We coined the term fanovation. So innovation to enhance.
Hang on, say that again.
Fanovation. Yeah, so that's actually our trademarked term that we utilize, and it's our program. All of our technology and innovations to enhance the fan experience are underneath that umbrella. So really unique program we have within Lumen Field. And then I also oversee the Seahawks retail marketing. So all of our pro shop stores and our retail marketing, and that's where I'm heavily involved on the Seahawks side. So keeps me busy, and I have someone on my team underneath me. So us to pretty much drive the ship of the venue side within our Seahawks marketing team. And every day is unique and different, whether it's, running promotional plans for concerts to drive ticket sales to, planning for a new merch launch for the Seahawks Pro Shop. And that's everything, again, from marketing promotions to actually event activation planning and more. So it's very versatile. I'm happy to dive into more of that today, but a bit of an overview of what I do within my position.
That's awesome. And you're talking about various innovations that you all do. Is that something you feel like the market sort of drives you to do? I mean, we've obviously had some former guests on the podcast from Seattle, not at the stadium, but at the arena, and it feels like that market is just really really great, like fertile ground for innovating, especially on the technological side, but on so many other things like green initiatives and all these other things. So it's got to be exciting when you are rolling out these things and pushing new initiatives. Like I feel like that market is very, responsive and adaptive and kind of looking for the new innovation. At least that's what it feels like on the outside.
No, absolutely. I mean, Seattle is such a market of technology, right? I mean, we have Amazon, we have Microsoft, like that is a massive part of this city and, the business landscape. So I think all of those components definitely inspire and really is something that I think we need to be doing is with our market. But yeah, I mean, you said it very well. I think it's an amazing, we're inspired by, other companies to have those technological innovations and keep pushing the needle in that way. So yeah, I mean, it's a really unique component of our stadium. But what is unique too is, we compared to some other venues like SoFi and things like that, we don't have the same newness and like maybe as innovative technology in terms of like their use of video boards and things like that, but we're continually innovating in that way. But I think what's unique is we have a lot of character and our stadium,
Sure.
has a lot of unique just components to it that add a lot to the experience visually when you're there. One example is we have both a girls flag football and a Washington State football wall where there's helmets of every football team in the state of Washington, and then a girls flag football wall honoring all the teams that have sanctioned or, rolled out girls flag football teams in their high school programs. So, two small examples of just unique components within our stadium that I think make it a stadium that is worth visiting. And then, as I mentioned, the Just Walk Out technology has been a real massive hit for our fans in terms of just speed of service and enjoyment of events. So
Too, I mean, it feels like Lumen Field is very active with the teams. Like some other markets are getting that way, but I feel like Lumen was so far ahead on like professional soccer side, right? Like there was times where it felt like in MLS, all the other markets are lucky to get 1,000 people, and then meanwhile you've got like Sounders and Timbers who were selling out matches, which is kind of crazy. It felt like they were really leading that charge as that movement was bubbling up, especially on the soccer front. And now, it's kind of exploding in the US. But, it's got to be really cool to have the Seahawks and have this huge, NFL franchise, but then also have the Sounders, which is, also been around for a while and has this storied history and, this really loyal fan base. So, I mean, that's got to be very special to sort of have two franchises in a big stadium that you can, lean on and work
That's
with.
rare. That is rare. Yeah.
yeah, it's very rare. And actually we have three professional teams because Seattle Reign FC with the
Oh, right.
NWSL also
Yep.
play at our venue. So absolutely the fact we host three professional teams, which yes, back to the Sounders, have a very historic nature to them. And it's so special to see the different fan bases that come through our stadium. And, Seattle Sounders have a very passionate fan base. So do the Seattle Reign FC, and then of course the Seahawks. So that's unique to experience as a marketer and see how those fans are different and but then the passion they have and the fan experience those games bring. And then of course the stadium concerts as well. And truly some of the most like magical experiences I've had. And one that comes to immediate mind, of course, is Taylor Swift, but truly seeing we had back-to-back nights of her Eras tour back in 2023, and our entire venue sold out with quite literally every single person knowing every single song and in absolute pure bliss. Like, I think that just is a perfect example of just the beauty of live events and how it really can bring people together. And I love experiencing that in all capacities and grateful that, I get to work at a venue that has a lot of unique events that we bring to our community. So
Alexa, speaking of unique events, I think you're the first venue we've talked to that's part of the FIFA World Cup. As far as we talked to people from the past that weren't
That little thing.
yeah, so that weren't
yeah,
and
the little
so
event.
so tell people that are listening right now what it's like to be part of this and everything that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I have to pinch myself, obviously, which I know you touched on. I was a soccer player myself. I played collegiately and professionally before I started my career here. So Yeah, I mean, it's pretty surreal to be able to be a part of marketing one of the, I mean, the biggest event really in the world. And I also think it's special that this sport and this event really brings the world together, and knowing that people from all over the globe are going to be coming to our venue is just a really special thing. And yeah, we're ramping up from a stadium just construction and kind of prep standpoint. That's been in full go for a while, but on the marketing side, we've been deep in hospitality marketing and supporting their efforts there. And then we'll transition to when tickets go on sale and then really ramping up, especially when 2026 starts. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be massive for our market and the city of Seattle. And it was cool that we had the Club World Cup here in June, so this summer, and that was just a really cool taste of seeing these international fans come in. And it was so unique to just listen to our event ops team and everyone speak to the experience after. And just one, I mean, the hospitality of these fans, like one of the teams, I think it was Euro Reds, I'm not 100% sure, but they said, we're cleaning up like every little piece of trash in their section after, like, we've never seen a cleaner fan section
That's
after.
amazing.
So one, just the hospitality and like kind of the respect they show for the sport. And I think you see that in soccer, and especially an event like this in a world stage. So, and then just the passion. I think,
Yeah, for
we
sure.
see that on the Seahawks NFL football side, and we absolutely do. But I think there's just this unique passion that soccer fans have, and especially that the World Cup brings. So, very excited. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be a lifetime just memory for me, but really everyone involved, in a really amazing thing for our venue. So,
A lot of people, listening today have worked with the NCAA on, hosting March Madness events and Final Fours. And so what's it like working with FIFA compared to, I mean, are you doing monthly meetings? Are they heavily involved? Is it a big playbook? I mean, this is a one, obviously like you said, the biggest event in the world. So what is the planning process like from the venue side?
yeah. So we do work very closely with their team. I mean, it's very driven by them, but then they lean on us for, okay, this is how we want things to roll out ideally, but what would be most effective in your market, right? Like, is it a targeted email to these groups? Is it social? Is it, in-game video boards at this event, things like that. So that's what's been really great, is there been really great partners and wanting to lean on our expertise in our venue, which I know, most people in this space can relate to, that you appreciate when partners are that way, because, one thing might work in one market where we have, certain email databases or marketing executions we think would be more effective in our market. But then, yeah, we have monthly marketing calls with them, and they, are very, of course, organized and effective in, what kind of the plan is, everything from tracking to, the process of how things get approved. And that's very dialed in, but they make it easy as well. And they've been enjoyable to work with. We've actually worked with On Location very closely for all the hospitality marketing, and more to come on kind of what the ticketing on sale marketing process will look like. But yeah, it's been great, and they know what they're doing for sure. So
They've definitely done it in a lot of markets, and I'm sure are used to adapting because they're not unlike a lot of other events that are maybe changing cities, they're changing countries,
right.
and
Yeah.
so many elements involved in that. So, is that kind of exciting too, that there are so many other stadiums that are hosting, that you can kind of reach out to some of those other stadiums, I guess similar to where if you had a concert or, you've got Taylor Swift coming and you see that, yada, yada, other stadiums had Taylor Swift, you can kind of be like, all right, what am I expecting? It
Right.
probably lets you all sort of, work with each other a bit and say, okay, we've all got this FIFA thing coming. How do we share ideas? How do we, across the board kind of help support each other?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that's one. I mean, going back to EVMC, like, I was able to connect with some of the other venues hosting the World Cup as well, and just pick their brain and be able to, chat through what it's been like in their venue, how they're, executing marketing, what's working, what's not. And I think that's something we'll definitely hope to in on even more as we really roll out the, ticket on sale marketing and, picking other venues' brains. And I know, I've tried to do that just in concert marketing as well. And I think in all event marketing, really, because a lot of our larger stadiums host all the same events,
Yeah.
but then each has, different events and different nuances. So you can learn so much from what other venues do. And I think that's just a special part of marketers and being able to connect and understand. And, you might hear something works in their market and that might not work perfectly in ours, but it sparks ideas of variations that we could, learn from to execute here and try. So.
It's an exciting time to be at Lumen Field. You're surviving the apocalypse. Spoiler alert for Last of Us fans, but did you see the last episode of The Last of Us where Lumen Field is the place where the survivors are setting up camp?
I didn't actually, but admittedly, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I will absolutely go watch that tonight.
It might feel like work, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
do I need to be, yeah, sitting on my couch watching work? I
Yeah.
don't
I didn't know if surviving a zombie attack was part of the, what is it, Fanavention? Is that what it is?
Oh
know.
yeah, exactly. Fanovation.
Fanovation. Tell me more about Fanovation and what do you guys? I know that obviously that's a major focus for you. So is that something that you have like a team that focuses on that, or how does that become part of what you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, it's organizational priority across both Seahawks and Lumen Field organizations. I think how that shows up at Lumen Field is constantly looking into how we can enhance the fan experience, right? So how we've done that is, as mentioned, those just walk out concession stands and making the fan experience easier and more seamless on game days when it comes to concessions. And then we've also rolled out a lot of unique premium spaces and want to continue to do so of, again, like how can we offer these unique experiential components to fans and innovating their experience. So in this past year we rolled out a new premium space called T-Mobile End Zone, and it's a premium bar space that anyone on our club level can go to, large screens where other NFL games are playing, open bar style, and then these unique sweet box style areas called 1976 Club with full meal service. And it almost has a speakeasy vibe, but really unique experience in a full suite box, kind of like full padded seat, outdoor seating style, but undercover. And that's been a really successful premium space. We also rolled out in the past few years our Tunnel Club, which it's a club that's right next to our player tunnel. And so the players, while they're walking out, fans can be right there to see them both pregame and halftime. So I think too, Lumen Field being an older stadium compared to some of these others, I think where that's really come in is we have to think uniquely of, okay, how can we utilize spaces that, weren't utilized in these ways to make an innovative premium space or to, change this in a way that can just enhance what was there. So we have another space called the City Side Bars on our north end of the stadium that, generically was just kind of this overlooked space, and we transformed that into this amazing bar that is open to anyone, but people can, get their drink and have a great view of the stadium. So those are just a few examples, but I think with our stadium space, we have to think uniquely of how we can, create these unique experiences for fans and continue driving that innovation.
Well, and sometimes that, innovation comes out of necessity, right? Like you're trying to push all these things, and maybe that challenge of being in a slightly older stadium is making those spaces all the more unique. You can't just easily build it with an architect. You have to kind of be like, how can we really embrace and make it fit in here? And it kind of gives it that unique ability. And I think one of the things, like, when I have seen photos of Lumen, it does, certainly every stadium has its own look, but it does seem to have this kind of iconic look of these like arches along the roof. You can see it if you're driving by it. It has this look, even when you see photos of players, playing football or soccer on the field, and you kind of see those arches sort of up over the top.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think it's great when you do have, that's one of the best parts about stadiums that that have been around for a little bit, because they've developed that kind of brand equity and that recognition. Like Madison Square Garden, when you see a concert in Madison Square Garden, a photo, and you see that roof, it's at Madison Square Garden, right? Like it's got like that look to it that you're like, this can't be at any other venue. It's got to be here. So I think that's just a great thing about it.
Absolutely. No, and we actually lean on utilizing our arches in a lot of branding because that is a key identifier of our stadium. And truly, I mean, bias or unbiased, but truly it's like striking and it's a
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
beautiful stadium. And those arches are so unique. And, from the west side of our stadium, you can overlook the sound and we're right on, the water's right there. You can see the city, you can see the iconic Ferris wheel, like all of these amazing pieces. And I think it's very unique too that it's right in the heart of the city. A lot of these larger stadiums, are outside of the city, but we're right there.
Right.
And kind of an example of leaning on those arches is we recently, in the last year, rebranded our WAMU Theater to try and draw more of that affinity to Lumen Field and that brand identification. So it has our new logo has a unique look that is, unique to that venue because we treat them as separate, but the arch is utilized just like we utilize in the Lumen Field logo to really draw that parallel for people that this is at Lumen Field because Lumen Field is iconic and people know that stadium as where the Seattle Seahawks play and these sports teams and these big events. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something we lean on, and then across marketing assets and things like that. Choose photos that really show those arches in a beautiful way. So it's a unique stadium and one that everyone should definitely put on their list.
So let me take you back a little bit to the University of Montana, where you were studying maybe on a very different path, but also, a real athletic all-star. When you were going to college, what did you think your life was going to be?
That's a great question. I think I going into college, I actually studied management information systems, so more business technology, data analytics. But I knew there's this creative side of me that I knew I would want to tap into. But, I was very passionate about my sports as well. And I was, on the women's soccer team. So I always had in the back of my head the thought of going to play professionally, but then knew I had interest in, having a successful business career as well as like an entrepreneurial spirit. But I think for me, each step of my life and my career thus far is, I've been very led to that right next step at the right time. So I was kind of going into college of like, okay, what's important now? And for me, it was like, getting my education and succeeding at the highest ability in my sport, and see what comes from there. So yeah, I think career wise, I knew I wanted to go into either marketing or more like data analytics, kind of business intelligence realm, but I was pretty open. And so then I got my master's of business administration from University of Montana as well. And that's where I really saw in myself this spark of interest in more like strategy focused classes, the creativity of marketing. And I felt that blending marketing and then having a data understanding would really make me successful in this career path. Then, it was always a goal of mine to play professionally. So around my junior year in college, just through conversations and kind of how my career was going, I realized that would be an opportunity for me. And so that became my next step. And I went and played professional soccer in Edinburgh, Scotland, which incredible city. I could sit here
How
and
much do you? I
speak.
actually have had the chance to visit Edinburgh. What a great city!
Incredible.
Yeah.
It was an incredible year. I absolutely loved it. It was incredible to be able to say I was a professional soccer player and truly like reach a goal that I had since I was a little girl.
Internationally.
That's right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
We need signed jerseys sent to us. I
Yes,
want to get that
please.
on the wall.
done. It better be hanging behind you. The
Oh,
net.
I'll
No,
put it
just
up. I'll put it up.
kidding. We'll get that for you guys. But yeah, I think that was just a really pivotal part of my journey too, because to really, again, reach a goal that I've had for so long, but then I also was able to continue my career while I was there. So finish my MBA and then I actually was a part-time robotic process automation developer, which
Whoa.
pretty wordy, but long story short, with my undergraduate degree in my management information systems program, I had to have a internship, and then it led to this part-time job and essentially creating automated processes for this company called Verisk, which is a analytics company actually worldwide. And that provided just such a unique experience. It really provided me with the ability to understand business technology, problem solve. The long story short, was able to keep my career going, and I knew deep inside like that was my next step. And at first, I thought I wanted to continue my soccer career, but for me, I think 1 year was enough, and I was ready to embark on, challenging myself in new ways and really utilize my education. So applied super widely, initially looking in the sports world, and I actually started as a marketing intern for the Seattle Seahawks, more just on the sport and football marketing side. So assisting with sport and event marketing for the Seahawks, and particularly in the corporate partnership world, community engagement world. And then ultimately, opportunity as a marketing coordinator more on the venue side opened up after my internship, and then now as a marketing manager. And it's been everything and more I could have dreamed and hoped where I could be right now. But I also have a lot more I want to achieve and a lot more to do
Sure.
and a lot more experience. So I feel in this exciting place that I'm really proud of where I'm at now, but also really eager and excited for what's ahead as well. And then, something I'm happy to speak to as well. But I started and founded my business called The Female Edge while I was
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Scotland.
Yeah, so
So
here's the thing: is you're doing all this. You went from robotic process automation developer to working with the Seahawks, and obviously big changes. And during all this, you co-found this the Female Edge, and so I mentioned this at the beginning, but what a great mission! Tell everybody all about what you're doing here.
thank you. Yeah. So kind of back to what I mentioned of just having an entrepreneurial spirit, and that was a big part of my MBA is, kind of working with some of these startups. And then, being an athlete and having a passion for giving back to the sport. Me and actually my roommate and teammate in Scotland, she's from Oregon. Her name's Tony Malone. She played at Oregon State University. And we joke that we likely would have not met each other in our own country, but it's truly the truth. So one day, just, chatting in our living room, our flat in Edinburgh, we just got talking about how much we've learned in kind of our journey in sport, and both of our desire to give back to women in sports. And sort of we're like, wait, we could start a business doing something like this. And quite literally every day when we weren't at training, we started building out what a business could look like doing this. And then ended up launching at the end of our time playing professionally in Scotland in March of 2022. And so the Female Edge is a business that provides services and mentoring to female athletes. So we provide everything from college recruiting services, so helping athletes that want to play their sport in college, take all the right steps to do so. But we take a very personalized approach, and because every athlete's different, every person has different desires, and we
Sure.
feel like we learned so much in that process. And there's a lot of nuances and a lot of, confusing components to it. And both parents and athletes sometimes just don't know what to do, how to do it, where they should put their effort. So we do that, and it's really rewarding to help these athletes, find their right college fit and reach their goals and dreams. Because that was us at some point. And also for us, we help all athletes in any sport in any market, but we definitely find a lot of athletes in these smaller towns are very talented and, can make it exactly where they want to go. They just need the right guidance. So that's been rewarding for us to also help a lot of athletes from our hometowns. And then we also provide mindset mentoring. So providing athletes guidance and mentorship on how to utilize their mind to, be the most successful they can be in their sport. But we take a very holistic approach of helping them understand, who they are and what their identity is in and out of their sport. And that's been special for me too, because I learn a lot from it, and I feel like it mentors me and I grow my mindset. And I do feel like that's contributed positively in my career as a businesswoman, and now in, sports and marketing, and just having confidence in, my presentations and my work on a day-to-day basis. And then, we provide a multitude of other services, but ultimately our goal is just empowering women in sport. And our brand is just always trying to, create that message. We do sell merchandise. We, have a social media. We have a podcast as well, and trying to just
Okay,
really
okay,
drive
okay.
that message home. Yeah, we are still continuing to grow that, but it's fun, and we're again ultimately just trying to really drive that message home and help as many female athletes as we can. So that's a detailed overview of the Female Edge.
If somebody, no, it's great. And if somebody would like to know more about that, cause somebody's listening right now, they're like, oh, I know I have somebody that I want to get connected with that. What's the best way for them to learn more about that?
Yeah, so our social media handle is thefemaleedge.co. So Instagram, Facebook, we're on TikTok, and then our website, thefemaleedge.co as well. We'll give you all the information you can. And then it's also in my bio on my Instagram, Alexa Coyle. So that's where they can find us.
I'm curious, with working with a lot of these younger athletes, are you seeing trends of challenges they're facing? I'm sure it feels like very ever-changing landscape, right? Across the board,
Very.
especially tied to like NCAA and NIL and all that stuff. It is really flipped things on their head, and in some ways in a really great way. In other ways, it's not made it in a bad way, but it's complicated things, right? There's just it feels like there's a lot more options out there. There's a lot more things you have to consider. So it does feel like that might be overwhelming for like, a high schooler or their parents who are like, when I was in college, I just had someone show up at my whatever soccer match and they offered me the school. Now there's all these other elements involved. Is that something that, is fun for you all to try to keep on top of? Is it really challenging? Are you kind of seeing people have similar trends of challenges?
I mean, definitely. I think the way the landscape is changing, there's been incredible pros for these athletes, but then some difficulties as well. So a few trends is, now NCAA is implementing some roster caps. So that's changing the landscape of recruiting for a lot of these athletes because these coaches, they have to be that much more specific about who they're recruiting and who's on their team. Whereas, in the past, like they may be able to have more girls on the team and take a chance on more athletes and,
Right.
see how they develop. Where now it's like they almost have to be recruiting athletes they know for certain are going to make an impact from day one. And that's challenging for athletes because I think there's a lot of athletes that have stories that, maybe they weren't the top player in, the state of California or, these larger markets, but, we're a talented player from a small town, got, a coach took a chance on them and then, they succeeded and the rest was history. But coaches have to be a little more intentional and careful about who they're recruiting on the rosters. So that's provided challenge for sure. And I would say with that and talking about marketing, like you truly have to market these athletes and they have to market themselves. And we say like, put yourself out there and like don't be afraid to follow up time and time again and be confident in yourself. And we try and mentor them and assist them with that. And then the flip side, with NIL and those opportunities, like now once we've helped get girls committed, we've are going into helping them actually find some NIL opportunities and connect them with brands that, they can get benefits now. And I think that's an incredible part of, the way college sports is evolving and that these athletes can, get these opportunities because they deserve that. And, but yeah, it's a very interesting landscape. And I think, we try and ground athletes too and just keeping their options open and keep their minds open because I think a lot of athletes too can have visions for specific schools and there's a
Right.
lot of
Right.
incredible universities out there with a lot to offer that I think in today's day and age like it's important to keep just their mind open. So we really try and encourage them in that. But yeah, we definitely have to make sure we're staying up to date on all the ever-changing components of, the collegiate athletics
I'm
world.
sure it'll
So
be changed by the time we finish recording this.
exactly. I'll have to go look. I'm sure there's a new update.
Alexa, we've talked a lot about, everything that keeps you busy on a professional level, but let's talk about you away from work. What do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, so I actually grew up also as a downhill ski racer. A little fun
What?
fact about me, I was a downhill ski racer as well as a soccer player. And that was a big part of my life. So still is not ski racing, but I'm a big skier. I absolutely love getting in the mountains in the winter, and that's something that brings me a lot of joy and something I love about living in Seattle. It's very accessible while still getting the great parts of a city. I'm a big workout person, so I love a good workout, being outdoors, movement. I love hiking, paddle boarding, all those outdoor activities for me are things I love doing. And then I'm also a foodie and I'm in the right place for it. I love trying new
Yeah.
restaurants, coffee shops, and love doing that wherever I travel as well. So I also love to travel when I can. And then, family and friends are very important to me. So spending time with them as much as I can and doing all those activities with them. But I love keeping myself busy in all capacities. So if I'm not at work, I'm usually doing something out socially or out in the mountains.
Do you have family there in Seattle with you?
So my family's actually kind of split both in Montana and here. So my oldest brother lives here, married with two kids. So I'm lucky to be an aunt and get to see them all the time. And then I have two older brothers. I'm the baby by quite a lot. My other brother, is in Bozeman as well as my mom. And then my dad actually resides in Connecticut. So our family's kind of all
Oh,
over, but
wow.
I do have some family in
Great
Seattle,
places to
which is
visit, though.
special. Oh, it's great. It's the best. It's the best of both worlds.
I know you love the Pacific Northwest, though, and a great place for some of those activities for you.
Absolutely. Pacific Northwest has been amazing. Everything I could really hope for in a place to live, because I mentioned it has the outdoor accessibility, but it has the city life. And for me, kind of the blend of those two is really what I need in a city. So it's been perfect.
Are you still kicking a soccer ball around? Do you like take it down on the field during some time off and kick some goals? The rain have the goals set up, and you're
Yes.
like, I'm just gonna take my lunch. I'll be right back. Or
Yeah.
you run in rec leagues and being like, oh, I don't know how to play, and then you go in and smoke them.
Don't- yes, yes. Love that.
I love it. I've definitely dabbled in some rec leagues. We had a work rec league when I started here, which was really fun. But truthfully, I don't play as much anymore. I think I've also really enjoyed just putting my time into other activities. And I think my business provides a lot of connection to the sport.
Sure,
And
yeah.
that's been a cool way to see that mostly fulfills that for me, where now again, like putting more time into hiking and skiing. And I'm actually going to start training for a marathon here soon. I'm running the
Oh my
Honolulu
gosh,
Marathon in December,
that's
which
awesome.
I know it's going to be a big, exciting thing. Doing things like that. And I think I've actually enjoyed playing less than I used to. But don't get me wrong,
Sure.
if someone's out there kicking a ball around and that's accessible to me, I definitely still enjoy it, but um, not as much as I used to for sure.
Sure.
So
Loved hearing about everything you have going on there and everything of happening there in Seattle. But I'm going to wrap things up. Before we do, I want to hit you with our fast five. It's just five questions, looking for your short, immediate response. Do you remember your very first concert?
yes, my first concert was George Strait at Lumen Field.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Do you have a favorite concert?
Taylor Swift,
Yeah, I thought that was
because
coming.
as I talked about earlier, the fans and just the intensity of their passion and just the true like beauty of all these people singing every word to every song. It
you
was
were singing
magical.
along. We know you were there
Yeah,
singing
yeah, I have
I
a
along.
mean, for
feeling.
sure, for sure. I'm not like a die-hard fan, but I was,
I'm not a diehard fan. I feel like I know 10 of her songs by
yeah,
heart because I've heard them,
100%.
every
Come
I
on,
was
you're a
day.
singing
Swiftie,
along.
Paul. You can admit
That's
it.
right. Maybe now we got bad blood.
Ouch. Alexa, what's one food you miss most from your time in Scotland? You get one Scottish meal. What are you having?
Okay, not to hate on my Scottish cuisine, but honestly, I didn't love the like Scottish specific cuisine as much as I love just like the international food options there. Like
Yeah.
they had every type of international cuisine. I had some of the best Thai food actually of my life in
There
Scotland,
you go.
That's
surprisingly.
awesome.
So the Thai food in Scotland is what
The
I'd say.
Scottish tie. Yes. The often overlooked
Scottish
delicacy.
Thai.
Scottish tie.
They do an amazing Thai haggis. What's your
Exactly.
what's your what's your favorite vacation getaway? If you can go anywhere, what's the one place you want to go?
I would say Hawaii. I was there this past year and it was incredible. I went to Maui, and I'm dying to go back. So I would say Hawaii.
Last question. What's your theme song? So there's a reality TV show where cameras follow you all around. What's the song that plays over the opening credits of the Alexa show?
Um, this is funny, but One Two Step by Sierra, because that was always my song all of my career. They would play it for me in the locker room. I'd do the dance.
Okay. All right. This
So
is your
to
hype
this day, it's
song.
just like it's my song. Like if I
Yeah.
was a baseball player, it'd be my walkout song and I'd do the one
You
two
had
step
those,
up
you got those
straight,
Beats
like
headphones on, your eyes are closed, you're vibing.
exactly. So One Two Step by Sierra.
I think we need to see the 1-2 step dance. I think
Perfect.
yeah, maybe in Sacramento. Hey,
Great.
before we let you go, throw out any plugs there. If people want to follow what you're doing there at, at Lumen or, the theater or anything, or we even reach out to you personally. What are the best places for them to find you?
Yeah, so of course, like Lumen Field, we have social media accounts across, Instagram, Facebook, X, same for WAMU Theater. And then me personally, you can find me on social media, Alexa Coyle _ I think is my Instagram handle, and I'm mostly active on there. I also have Facebook. And then LinkedIn as well, and like to share a lot of the things we're doing, is particularly at our venue on my LinkedIn, and I'm proud of everything we're doing here. So that's where people can find me.
Just that easy. Hey, thank you so much for the time today. It was great hearing about you and everything you have going on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It was wonderful to chat with you.
And a big thanks for listening to this episode of Adventures in Venueland. Remember, you can subscribe and find more episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We do love your 5-star reviews because it helps others find us. Until the next adventure, I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one. Adventures in Venueland is a side project of the Event and Venue Marketing Conference, a marketing conference that brings together diversified event and venue professionals to cultivate education, collaboration, and innovation for the growing sports and live entertainment industry. Find out more at eventvenuemarketing.com.
Audio editing and mixing by Camille Faulkner.
Design and digital advertising by Megan Ebeck.
Copywriting and publicity by Samantha Marker.
Guest booking and brand strategies by Paul Hooper.
Guest research by Dave Rettelberger.
Marketing strategies by Paul Hooper, Megan Ebeck, and Samantha Marker. Thanks for joining us. Until the next adventure.